All right, and it looks like I'm live, sending audio, which is really weird because OBS just told me that it failed to stream because of driver problems. So hold on, I need to check my audio to make sure that it's actually working. And took me far too long to load up that page. The delay hadn't started that. So let's talk for just a second and see if I can hear this. All right, everything seems to be working just fine. I don't know what that message from OBS was. It was a little bit concerning. Hopefully nothing bad will happen. Also, the recording is not happening. I won't worry about that right now because YouTube does save those recordings for me. But it is a little bit interesting and I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit later. Until then, I'm gonna pop out my chat in case anybody stops by. And time to send my message. Going there. All right, and all those messages sent out. Let's close Slack so we don't get any responses. And all right, time to get going. So last week we made it through chapter 3, and now it's time to sort of play with the code and actually build some stuff using what we learned. Of course, we're going to use the books for reference, but the point isn't to just memorize all of the types or anything else with Rust, but to rather just get some muscle memory in while we're building out some tools. And that's kind of like the point of warming up, learning new things is really just like getting that muscle memory in. Memory happens with time. It's more about just building the understanding of how everything works underneath the hood. So I'm going to reset our sizes here. Okay, so first, convert temperatures between Fahrenheit and Celsius. This is the first sort of application that they're asking us to build using our newfound knowledge here. So what I'm going to do is create a new application and where should, there you are. Here we are learning Rust. I'm just going to create a new repo. And what should I call this? Temp to, I guess Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit to Celsius. Rust. This is a test. Well, I guess not really a test. This is a practice where I would. I don't need a description for it. It's too early in the morning to think. All right, add. Do we have a Rust? We do. License IT. Public. That's fine. Let's clone. And this is the learning Rust one, right? Yes, I'm going to create a new one. and I'm going to call this F2C. Okay, documents, projects, mine. Here's all my projects, git clone, go into here, cd Fahrenheit. Okay, now we're capable of starting here. Oh, yeah, we don't need to worry about anything else. I'm just gonna open up a new code window here, put you over on the right. And so what the first thing we want to do is sort of like create our project with cargo. So that's gonna be cargo new. It's a binary that we're creating, and it's gonna be temp convert. Okay, here's our temp convert. We have source main, and if I do cargo run, oh, I need to cd into temp convert, and then I can do cargo run. Then I get the hello world. Okay, so everything seems to be working just fine. If we take a look at what we've got here, our cargo main, cargo lock, that's probably fine. This is all in target. I'm not sure I want target. So do I have a git ignore? I do. I want to do maybe something like star star. All right, and that brings it down to exactly what we want here. So I can do initial commits, push it on up, and because I don't want to forget, and I know that I will, where is that? There you are. I'm going to put the that URL for this repo into this description right now, which should auto update if you hit refresh. But hold on that for a second. I'm going to find the other one is the code for the Fahrenheit to Celsius converter can be found at boom. Okay, and I think it auto saves for that. So all you have to do is hit refresh at this point in time if you're watching live. Otherwise, if you're watching this as a VOD, just take a look in the description for this video, and it should have there should be a link both to my just general Rust learning, but also this Fahrenheit to Celsius application that I'm building. Okay, so the next thing that I need is to know what the algorithm for converting Fahrenheit to Celsius. Because I know it's relatively simple, but there might be some, like, I don't actually remember what it is. So let's go Googling for that. Fair to Celsius equation. C to F. Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion formula. To convert temperatures in degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, multiply by 1.8 and add 32. Now, is that the same thing? We can verify, but all right. So if all it is, the way I imagine that something like this application can be is You run it, and it asks you, "Hey, what would you like? What is your what what temperature do you want to convert to?" And then you can also like, and what is this in? And you can say like, okay, I have a Fahrenheit and I want to convert it to Celsius. I have a Celsius and I want to convert it to Fahrenheit. So maybe the first thing would be just ask and get it. And we'll build this. Okay, so starting here, we want to begin by print line and saying there. Yeah, this one just goes Celsius. I'm gonna say I want to do both ways. Okay, so temperature converter. There's not really anything to put there. Okay, so welcome to the temperature converter. Give us your temperature. We haven't really looked into split or anything like that. So knowing, like, if we're gonna try just what we have, we're gonna ask two questions. What is the is this in what is the temperature, and then is this Fahrenheit or Celsius? All right, so we'll do print line. And I wonder, now that I know how to do functions, I bet I can like get the function, get the thing, and get it back. So I kind of want to try this. Can I say, I'm gonna do all my declarations of variables up here. So I want to let, and I want this is gonna be the temperature in numbers. And it's probably going to be some kind of float. We can come back and take a look at the types again. Data types. So we have floating point types. They don't really have, I don't see doubles or anything else, just integer and floating point. Maybe like they probably do have those and they're just not showing that to us. But I'll use floating points for this. Even though the math gets a little bit wonky, it might not be perfect. Okay, so let input temperature equals, okay, so I want this to be a new string. So what was that? That was like standard string dot new, something like that. Variables. Oh, I don't think this one is talking about that. Was it in data types? Was there a string here? Oh, they're just talking about new things, but not really going over previous stuff. Let's go take a look at the Rust documentation string. You can create a string from literal string. Okay. I just want to be a new string though. New. Creates a new empty string. Given that the string is empty, this will not allocate any initial buffer. Okay, let s equals string new. And oh yeah, because string is not off standard. It's just string new like that. And it's not dot because they use double colon for accessing these methods. Okay, so we're going to set input temperature is going to be this. And here's this with capacity. Oh, and we do want this to be mutatable. The string contains no characters, even though it's capacity. Ooh, interesting. I don't think I want to do that right now, but that might be something to sort of like come back and play around with, because we would want potentially. I'm gonna just like come back and add in each one section later, but I'm gonna put in here. Okay, instead of the input temperature, it's gonna be the input type. Calculation. Fahrenheit is the Fahrenheit versus Celsius. They're just the two methods of doing it. Okay, so we have our temperature converter. The next thing we want to do is call a function that's going to ask the user what is the temperature you want to convert. So we can begin by calling this function even though it doesn't exist yet. So we're going to say our input temperature is going to equal, and then we're going to call this function, which is get temperature, and we're going to pass in. Do we need to pass anything in? I don't think so, because it should just get that and go. Now this won't work. We'll get horrible errors, so we need to create a function, get temperature. This doesn't take anything in, but it returns a floating, I think it's a floating 32 bit integer. I don't think I'm gonna need to go crazy here and do that. So if I just like return 33.5, and I now print line the input input temp and let's try running this and make sure that the function is working the way we want it to. Cargo run. Uh-oh. All right, I'm going to make this, there we go. Also, I noticed that I'm in front of this quite a bit. Let's see if I can move myself a little bit more towards the center. Maybe the right-hand side. And then hopefully I won't get in the way of the code, but so far it's pretty short. And I'll just keep the code that's relevant up to the top. Okay, so mismatch types, input temperature, get temperature. Oh, right, because this wants to be a string. So I would need to string it. And this is it could be as signed, so it's an I32. I have more mismatch types, all right? Expected struct standard string found I32. Try using a conversion method. Oh, again, you don't need to be that. This can be a oh, what are the different? How do I tell that it's going to be a string? Is it just string? Expected struct standard string found reference. I think it might be just literally this. Expected struct standard string found reference. But I mean, it's complaining about different parts each time, so that's a good sign. Interesting. So a string literal is just a reference. It's not what I was expecting. But if I do the same thing that I did up here, if I say, okay, let mute user input equals string new, and then I just say user input is equal to like 35.9. Except I want this quoted. If I do that, it should return, right? No, it did not like that. Okay. Expected struct standard string found reference. Try using a conversion method to string. So it wants me to string this. All right, so down to one page worth of errors. Okay, that's interesting. Expected struct, oh. No semicolon if I want to auto return. All right, if that doesn't work, then can I just do user input as my return? Hey, I can. Okay, so we've got our user input here. So then what I want to do is now actually grab the user input. So while we say like, okay, we'll do a print line and what is the temperature that you want to convert? Thing in here. But then we want to immediately actually get this user out input. So let's go back to the documentation here. And we really, what was it? the guessing game tutorial. That's where we got the input. And I forget what the name of the method was. Okay, IO standard in read line. So we're going to bring in standard IO. Okay, so we're going to bring in standard IO, and now we can do IO.standard in read line, and then we need to hand in this. So it's mute guess. So this is going to be our user input. So then we get to say, okay, IO standard in dot read line. Then we're going to pass it a reference to the mutatable user input. And if there's any horrific problems, we're going to run it to say, I failed to read the line. Please try again. Okay, so that gives us that, and then we're going to return the user input. All right, let's try it. Cargo run. Expected expression found. It's ampersand. All right, what is the temperature that you want to convert? I think I misspelled that. So let's just say 25. Input temp 25. Okay, so that is returning properly. We've got that working. So now that we have this as 25, something that would be pretty awesome is, since I am getting this temperature, having it convert to a F32 would be really nice. So if I was to return user input dot, how do I convert it to a float? I know that parse will convert it to an integer. Is there like a parse float? Oh, this is struct string. I don't care about that. I want parse float. Rust parse float. String to float. You can parse to any type implemented from string. All right, parses this string slice into another type. Because parse is so general. Oh, so parse can do it. Because parse is so general, it can cause problems with type inference. As such, parse is one of the few times you'll see syntax affectionately known as the turbo fish. This helps the inference algorithm understand specifically which type you're trying to parse into. Parse can parse any type that implements the from string trait. So if I just do parse like that, then I want this to not be, or if I can just do this, set it, and have it auto infer based upon this function saying, hey, I'm going to return a 32-bit. I wonder if that's also going to sort of figure that out too. Or if I'm going to get a ton of errors here. Mismatch types, expect F32 because of return type. Expected F32 found enum standard result. Oh, because it's a result, I need an expect. And expect, please give me a number next time. unhappy face. Okay. Function get temperature. Okay. Expected F32 found nothing was returned. So can I just do user input equals, and then we'll return user input. Expected F32 found struct string string. So it wanted this. So this for some reason is still a string. And that's sad. Okay, so if we user input, oh, we also want to dot trim. But I don't think that will make a difference here. It's still expected. So yeah, it knows that this is supposed to be an F32 because I told it to be. But it found structure standard string string. So it's saying user input is still a string. Oh, right, because I can't actually overwrite this way. I think I need to say, I want to, so I'm going to shadow. So let user input F32 equals that, right? What is the temperature you want to convert? 33.6. Input temperature 33.6 when it's actually now a real float number. Can I do negative? So negative 12. All right, perfect. So that actually works. So this allows us to get the temperature, and we return this. Then what I want to do is get the symbol. So is this, this could be another function here. So function get symbol, get temperature symbol. We're going to return just a good old string. So I think that was like standard string. It was like standard string. It was really weird. I can't remember, but it will yell at me and tell me exactly what to put in here. Okay, so what I want to do is same thing here. We're going to get the user input. So let mute user input is equal to string new. Once we have this, then we ask the user. So this is almost feeling like I might want to break this apart into different functions, but we'll see. We're going to print line, and we're going to say, is this C? Is this a temperature in C or F? And now I want to grab that. So IO standard in read line, and we're going to pass it a reference to the mutatable user input area. And dot expect. I failed to read the line. Please try again. Okay. So that gives us this. We now have some character in here. And we want to just check to see if it's a single thing or not. So we want them to type in C or F. I'm not going to worry about capitalization or anything else. I know there must be some methods to convert all capitals to all lowercase or vice versa. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I think it's more of once I have this character, I want to go through it until, well, I want to check to see, did I get an F or a C? So let's do, well, we want to user input. This can still be a string in here. We want to convert, like remove this. So user input dot trim. So now the new line character should be gone, and any white space they put in there should be gone. And can I get a length? If I print line user input length, user input dot length. Okay, and then I want to get the temperature symbol right afterwards. And I'm just going to, I'm not taking anything right now, so I'm just going to call it get temperature symbol. And let's see, expected one of found colon. Oh, it's double colon. It's going to take a little bit while to get my muscle memory used to that. All right, mismatch types, expected standard string string. So standard string string, like that. Okay, let's go back to mismatch types. User input equals user input dot trim. Expected struct standard string string found string. Oh, interesting. So it's just a reference to it. That's what's happening. So I want to do a .toString. No method name length. Okay, is it not a method? Is it just a property? No field length. So neither. There is no those things. So that's not that big of a deal. I could basically just check to see whether or not it's equal to F or not. Let's go ahead and print this to see if I get what I want to get. No. Oh, it's not returning anything. That's the reason. So if I user input, okay, what is temperature? 33.5. It's temperature in C or F. I'll say F. User input length F. All right, so that's what we wanted. And what I really want to do is, if it's not F or C, immediately halt the program and quit out. But if it is, then we're fine. So before we leave, and I have this print. I don't need this, but I can do some if statements here. So, that was interesting. I think it's just if statement. And so my statement is going to be if user input is equal to, and I want to put my static, like whatever I'm hard coding in here on the left. So we'll say if f is equal to user input, and let's go back to the book and double check our conditionals. Control flow. Yeah, and then it's just a block. Okay, so if f equals user input, how do I do an or here? Is it the double pipe symbols or? They did not mention. Okay, hold on. Let's go to the actual documentation. Primitive type mode traits. Where can I search for if? Oh, not really. I don't think this is. Oh, this is still looking inside of standard. I want to look inside of everything. Oh, that's standard. Okay, hold on. Rust, lang, if, or. What? Okay. If in Rust lang. Okay. So there's, well, wait a second. Do you not have an or? Oh, interesting. But why are you not telling me support and in if? Okay, so I don't think it is supported. This is just this is a request. If let patterns should be as expressive as match patterns. You can nest patterns, i.e. if let sum thing equals that. Okay, so the answer is there is no or. What that means is we just have to put a whole bunch of them in here. So if f equals user input, we're fine. So, and I wonder if f does not equal user input, then I want to sort of like exit out immediately. How do it didn't? I don't think it said in here like how to actually like just fully quit out. Rust exit. Standard process exit. Terminates the current process with a specified exit code. Okay. So I would want to, what is it? Standard process exit. Use standard process exit. Exit, we're going to pass in, I don't know, 1. It's very C-like in that way. Okay, so I have my user inputs. We're going to move on and also say like, hey, if you're not a F, you must be a C. Else if C is not equal to user input, then exit 1 as well. Okay, so this means that you must be an F or a C. So we're going to now return user input. So we're just calling it now. I can now, at this point in time, let mute input symbol input symbol equals. Okay, we've got that, and let's try it. Let's actually, before I run it, I want to say, okay, we have a print line, input temperature is this. And we're gonna have our input symbol. All right, what's temperature? 33.2. Is this in C or F? C. Hold on, what was your exit condition? Echo $? 1. Okay, so it failed. And I have this trim here, so it should not have been one of these. Oh, so the problem is that because it wasn't F, it just immediately exits. I really want to do the opposite. I want to check for what it is, not what it is not. So if F is equal to this, then I want to just return user input. Else if C is equal to this, I want to also return user input. And I don't need you at all. And then I can say, okay, if there's anything else, we exit with 1. Okay, let's try this. Not checking echoes. All right, so 33.2 C. Input temperature 33.2 C. Okay, perfect. So I noticed that we did a whole bunch of very similar things here. So I'm wondering if I can now create a third function here that returns these. I think that's going to be the last thing I do in this today because we're coming up in 10 minutes. It's going to be the end of the stream time. Okay, so function get temperature. I really want to get user input and return that. And then because these lines are different. Although I still need to do the trim on it, so I might be able to do that myself. So let's create a new function. Function get user input, and this is going to return a standard string. So we're just going to grab, still getting used to this, I'm going to write it out. We want immutatable user input to equal string new. Once we have that, we want to ask it. So we do need to pass in a string. So we'll call this message. And this is going to be a standard string. I think that's how that works. So once I have that, let user input equals this. That's this now gone. We do want to then grab. Oh, you won't let me cut? Okay. Oh, right. 3. Okay, so print line. So instead of what is temperature that you want to convert, we're just going to just put in the message here, and it's going to be message, which kind of makes me want to leave that up there. That was unfortunate. I'll recreate it pretty easily. Okay, so print the message, and then we're going to get the user input. Into user input, failed to read the line, please try again. And then we want to return user input dot trim dot toString. Okay, so that lets us get the user input here. Then we want, let's user input f32 equals, wonder if I can just plainly call, well, no, it's not going to be that easy. I think what it is let temperature equals, so this is going to be a type string to be default. We're going to call get user input, and we're going to pass in the message, which is what is the temperature you want to convert. And then we're going to say, okay, let user input f32. So then we're going to, that was the wrong command. What is the, I feel like my, oh, it's because I turned on Vim mode, so everything got a little bit weird. It no longer does, I like Vim mode in a lot of things. This one is not as intuitive as I was hoping to be, so I might change and do a different one next time. But since I don't have that capability, I'm going to do that. Oh, it won't let me. Okay. This will be the temperature. And I don't need to trim it anymore because I'm already doing that. I just need to parse it into F32. Okay. Then we return the temperature. All right. That looks good there. Now on this side, We don't need U2. Print line is this. So this string, I'm going to copy out because we want to do, because it's Control C, which is in Vim, putting it back into command line mode. So if I do that with yank, that should pull it out. Still a little bit annoying that I can't, like, just let me use those things. Don't do true Vim in here. User input. Okay, so I want to also grab this to set this as a string, but I might be able to get away with delete, 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 delete. Let user input equals, this is going to be get user input. We're going to pass it in the message, which has already been lost, so that's cool. What is the temperature symbol? Or is this a temperature in C or F? Okay, I don't need to trim it because it's already been trimmed and it's already toStringed. So I just literally grab it like that. And then I can immediately say, okay, input. And so I kind of want to whoa, why would you do that to me? Undo. Oh man, it's keeping the selection there. It's really annoying. Okay, hold on. Ah, now this is all screwed up. Okay, hold on. Let temperature symbol equals, and they're going to call get user input, and we're going to pass it the string. Is this a temperature in C or F? That looks fine. I'm gonna wrap this. Okay, so if F equals, we're just gonna say temperature symbol, temperature symbol, temperature symbol. Otherwise we exit one, otherwise we're just sort of returning this here. Okay, so that makes it a little bit cleaner. And then we get these things and we display it off. So as our very last thing, let's see if we got this working. No, expected close delimiter, line 33. So something happened here. Let temperature equals get user input. So that seems fine. Why are you on a different line? Oh, because you lost the thing that you're doing. That's why. So if C is equal to temperature symbol, like that. Save. Okay, what's wrong with you? Mismatch types. Let temperature equals get this one right here. Line 16, get user input was the temperature you wanted to convert. Expected structure, standard string, found reference. Try using a conversion method dot toString. So found a reference. So what if I down here instead of, can I say that this is reference like that? Expected struct, found reference, no. Okay, so I think it would be easier to grab this information and pull it out up here. So we'll do let message equals, can I do this? Oh, I can, okay. Dot toString. Then we can pass in message. I want that back to normal previously, and then we're going to do this exact same thing. So let message equals toString, and then we're going to pass in message. Save it, find out if this works. It does work. What is the temperature you want to convert? 33.6. Is C or F? Let's do F this time. Input temperature 33.6 F. So that was a bit of work just to get it a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to sort of reason about and read here, and not having to duplicate the actual getting of the user input. But we now have that. We now have the ability to get this multiple times if necessary, and sort of next time we start tomorrow morning, we can now sort of start working on the actual conversion part, and then maybe looping through in case we have multiple ones we want to do. But we'll see. But that being said, it is after 8 a.m. That means we are warmed up, we're ready for the day, and it's time to actually start doing that thing. So thank you so much for watching, or if you're watching this VOD, thank you for watching the VOD. I am doing this sort of warm-up stream every single weekday at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. I have links to the code, the repos that I'm using, and any of the other interesting things you might want in the description down below. If this is something that's interesting to you, go ahead and follow this channel, and I'm hoping that that we'll continue working on Rust and moving on. With that, I am gonna go work on the rest of my day. So I hope that you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.